Hey everybody, my name is Jessica and welcome to my channel. If you're not subscribed, click down below and make sure you like. So, today we are going to be doing the Disney and Pixar conspiracy theories. Now I know what you're thinking, but I love Disney. Disney was my childhood. Well, it is mine too, but we're gonna ruin it. Some theories though are gonna want to make your heart melt. Theory number 1, based around Mulan. Now I love Mulan. She's the strong character that we all look up to. She is really the Great Stone Dragon. Now, if you recall back to Mulan, you see that the Great Stone Dragon is supposed to be awoken, but you see that Mushu ends up breaking the statue, which is just a symbol of Mulan's true nature. Now they send Mushu after Mulan to keep an eye on her, but there are different instances that show that Mulan, that's her true self, that's who she's looking for. So, number 1, when she sings a reflection song, it's all about her reflection, who she really is. So what does that mean? Disney didn't just write that song for no reason, right? So, during that song, she ends up going into the dragon and sitting on the dragon statue, having it shield her. Now that could be, oh, maybe the dragon's protecting her, but it's during the song Reflection. Connect the dots. Do you see where I'm going? And then also, when Mulan decides to chop off all her hair, kind of like I did, you see her pulling out the sword and there's a dragon right on it. And then you see that the dragon is going out of view from the camera and her reflection is replacing it. And finally, she defeats the Huns. But how? That's where the line gets drawn to make the connections. Now, what does she use to defeat the Huns? A firework. That's of the Great Dragon, which causes an avalanche, which ends up having her save China. Number 2. Now, this one's kind of depressing and it's on the more depressing end of all of these theories, but it's really that Carl and Up didn't ever make it to the waterfall. Actually, at the beginning of the film, that's his last breath on Earth. Now, that sounds so sketchy and Pixar is like, you're like, what, Disney, what are you doing? But it shows that Russell is actually his guardian angel, leading him through the afterlife in order to get where his wife will be, or where his wife wanted to be. And yeah, so that's all I have for that theory. Just kind of a throw-in, don't want to talk too much. Theory number 3. Now, Jane is actually Belle's granddaughter. How is that? Well, they both like the color yellow. They both have parallel time periods, and the teapot that was Mrs. Potts's ship shows up in Tarzan. So maybe it's a family heirloom because of all that happened and how it affected Belle's and the Beast's life. So it goes all the way down the line. Now, this theory will connect with another one down the way, but that's all I have for that one. Keep that in mind. Theory number 4. Now, if you're into Disney conspiracy theories, you've probably heard this one before, and it's one of my favorites. Now, when Frozen came out, at Elsa's coronation, and Anna was walking through the crowds, you could see Rapunzel and Flynn Rider in the crowds walking towards the coronation. Now, why would this be? Only certain people got invited, and they were in 2 separate countries. So why did they get invited? Well, one thing that connects them is they both have magical powers. Rapunzel has hair that glows, which heals people. Elsa has magical hand powers, which turns things to ice. So, both magical powers could be a coincidence, right? But then, another thing is that at the very beginning, when Elsa and Anna's parents go to some wedding, and they say that they're going to be gone for a long time, they end up having a shipwreck. Now, this point is going to connect to another one later on. During that shipwreck, Frozen creators say that the parents didn't die. Now, if they didn't die, what happened to them, you might be wondering. Well, this connects also with the Jane theory. that Elsa and Anna could be related to Tarzan. How? Well, this is kind of a theory, but maybe Elsa and Anna's parents had a shipwreck. Well, also Tarzan's parents ended up having a shipwreck, and they were both during a storm. Now, maybe that's just a coincidence. But then they wash up and they have a baby, and they look very similar. Like, look at this picture. If they were out on a boat struggling to survive, and that's one theory. And inside of that as well, maybe Elsa's dad at the beginning was so strict on her and wanted to keep her powers hidden because he was scared that somebody would take her. Now, in correlation, if Rapunzel and Elsa are cousins, Rapunzel got kidnapped for 18 years with magical powers, for her magical powers. You see where the king's coming from. He doesn't look that bad now trying to hide her powers, does he? Okay, theory number 5. So, this one has to do with Ariel and Hercules being related. Now, they don't even look alike. But just listen to this family tree in Greek mythology. So, King Triton is the son of Poseidon. So, Poseidon is Ariel's grandfather. Following? So then, Poseidon is Zeus's brother. So Zeus is the father of Hercules. So King Triton and Hercules then are first cousins, which make Ariel and Hercules second cousins. Theory number 6. So Bing Bong from Inside Out is actually a monster from Monsters, Inc. From that whole corporation. Now remember Boo, the little girl with the pigtails and the pink shirt? Slowly would come into her room through doors, and they could go in and out of places whenever they wanted at whatever time of day. But there could have been another girl that a monster walked in on, right? And that girl would be Riley. So Bing Bong was a monster too, but he was just a cuter one, and he'd come into her room and play with her, and that's how she'd have all these memories of them doing stuff. So when Bing Bong dies in Inside Out, it's really just the memory of him dying that she won't remember, because it was from a little kid. And wouldn't it be kind of traumatizing to have just your door open in the middle of the night and a monster walks in? I mean, I'd be kind of scared for the first time, even if he was cute. Like, please. So that is the end of that theory, just stating that Bing Bong is like Sully, and they both go into kids' rooms and scare them. Be kind of cool, but I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. So, theory number 7. Now, this one's kind of sad, and it's most likely to be true, and I think it may have gotten verified by Walt Disney or Walt Disney's company. So, all the Disney protagonists are motherless. So that means that all the main characters that face conflict don't have mothers. So Ariel lost her mother. Belle lost her mother. Cinderella lost her mother. Snow White lost her mother. Now the only exception is Bambi. Now Bambi has a mom, but his mom ends up getting killed. Now why is this? Well, it's because Walt Disney's mom actually died very suddenly, and it was a big shock to him. This affected him in writing all the movies and the scripts because his mom died right after Bambi came out. So all of the movies after Bambi showed that mom figures die. Now, I'm sure that there are a few exceptions, but just think about it. Like, that's really sad, but it shows his true character, and I think it's really cool. Here's a short one, but I think it's really cool how Pixar incorporated this. So, in Toy Story, you see Andy running around the house in a cowboy hat. Now, if you look at Woody and you look at Jessie, their cowboy hats are pretty similar, but Jessie's is red, and Woody's is brown. You see Andy running around the house with this red hat on. Why does he have Jesse's hat on when he doesn't even know Jessie exists? Or doesn't have her? So that's to my next point. Emily, Andy's mom, is actually the true owner of Jessie, the one that left her in the cardboard box. Now, if you look, the time frame that the movies are placed shows Toy Story 2, she is a young child and Andy's not even around in the flashback. And then you fast forward and Andy's mom is 30 years old and the time frame fits if you want to look into that. So that's a theory that Jessie's actual owner from the childhood who threw her out is Andy's mom. So theory number 8. Now, this isn't really a theory because it got confirmed by Disney, but it was a theory at one point. I just think it's really cool how much Shakespeare influences stuff. I'm not a big Shakespearean fan, but I do think it's pretty cool how they're so correlated. So, The Lion King is like Hamlet. Now, if you haven't read Hamlet, that's okay. I'll give you a little bit of detail, but not really. You'll read it later on, and if you haven't, just look it up and read a summary about it. Who needs to read Hamlet? No. But anyway, so they both lost their fathers at a very young age by their uncles doing, or paws or hands, whatever you want to say. And they're both princes, which means their fathers were kings that got murdered by their brothers. If that makes sense. And after the prince's father dies, they both come back in a vision. Mufasa comes back to Simba in a vision in the sky, and Hamlet's father comes back to him in a vision as well. I don't remember exactly when I read this like a year ago, so And then after that, they both are exiled. So Hamlet's exiled and Simba is exiled, and they both have to run away from home and not come back for a long time. Then they have this revelation and visions of their father, and they decide to take revenge on the person that killed them. Their uncles. Or their uncle. So you can kind of see the pattern here and how they're so similar. Now, so number 9, Belle was actually crushing on Aladdin. Now, why would I say this? Like, Aladdin's in the desert and Belle is in France. So, how do they know about each other? Well, Belle loves to read books, and in the book, she says, quote, I'm not gonna mess this quote up. Far off places, daring sword fights, magic spells, a prince in disguise. Now, far off places, Arabia, like Aladdin's far off. Daring sword fights, Aladdin got into sword fights with guards. Magic spells, the genie, and Jafar, and a prince in disguise. Aladdin turns into a prince when he marries Jasmine, and he was in disguise because he had to act like a commoner. So that's all my theories I have for today. Thank you for watching. If you guys want me to do another Disney theories or any theories or conspiracies in general, just let me know down below. You subscribe, like, and comment Disney down below in the comments section. I will like your comment and I'll subscribe to you.